It's Christmas time.
No, I wanted a treat.
Okay, yeah. Did you get that today?
I just bought it today.
I was going to say, I didn't think we had any of it.
Well, you can only get it at the Hills. Well, obviously, it's a bunch of places.
Yeah.
But Kroger doesn't have it, but the Hills has it.
Middle West Spirits.
Middle West Spirits. I want a little treat.
Bourbon cream.
The bourbon cream. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think I might have to have a sip tonight, too.
I think so. It's like such a little holiday treat. Cool. Yeah, we're on. Just leave it
Cool.
in the frame.
Yeah.
They do not sponsor us.
No.
Yet.
I'll move it out a little. Always looking for a sponsor.
Episode 3. That's when you start to get sponsors.
We're open.
Yeah.
Open for business.
Well, okay. We made it to episode 3.
Yeah.
Wasn't confident that would happen. So, inquiring minds need to know, how's your day?
Today was a very Monday, Tuesday.
What is today?
It's Tuesday.
Feels like Monday.
It feels like Monday.
A moose day?
I mean, just a Monday, basically.
A ton day?
Oh, awful.
A ton day.
A ton day. It was just, I mean, it started out with me just not getting up on time.
Right.
That's a pretty Monday thing to do.
Well, you like to be cozy.
Well, and, we're now in real Midwest late fall, so it's just gray all the time.
It was also rainy today.
It was rainy. Yeah. And my God, if you hear the rain on the roof, you're not getting out of bed.
Well, we live on the top floor, so we get this like pitter patter.
It's a nice little pitter patter.
Just a constant, yeah.
And it will just keep you stuck in the bed for ages. I mean, it was, I think my alarm went off 14 times or something.
It's funny because I didn't hear it one time.
No, because you were just like, I'm not getting up either. And that was half the problem too, is we were both just laying there and not getting up.
Yeah.
But so anyway, it just kind of put me back. I mean, really, I got up at least an hour and a half later than I wanted to. So then I was an hour and a half behind pretty much all day. But caught up, and really, I started my day by cleaning. Mm-hmm. And I think that really kind of set the tone.
In a positive way?
In a positive way. Yeah. There was something about kind of jumping out of bed and having to go clean parlor suites, and just being in the space. And I mean, I have a routine when I'm there, but really having done nothing. And then all of a sudden I'm just making sure that things are organized, things are clean, things are where they're supposed to be, things are stocked. Everything is just ready for the day.
So you get little wins, little rewards.
I mean, yeah, but it set me up for the day as well. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Make your bed when you get up.
Obviously, yeah.
That it's a very easy task to do. It's something that you can do daily, and you've already won. You've already done something. You can already check mark it off of your to-do list. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you do it, and then you make your to-do list, but you put it at the top and you can check it off right away. You're bound to check off so many more things if you at least have one thing already checked off.
I think your mindset setting off a positive tone. I think it works in perpetuity throughout the day as well, because you make your bed, you do the dishes. When you come home, if the day is stressful, then those things don't add stress onto your world.
Exactly.
So they're like neat and tidy when you come back. Because like if you don't accomplish those things and your life is chaotic and you live within chaos, then you never escape it at all. And that's when you keep spiraling deeper and deeper. But I think starting out with a win, same reason I run in the morning.
Yeah.
So you get it done early. And although I won't accomplish everything else I want to do for the day, I know that I accomplished something.
Yeah.
And I love doing physical tasks like cleaning and stuff, because you can visually see that you did it.
It's a really good feeling.
Because sometimes you just send an email or something and you're like, well, I did that thing, but there was no like visual reward. But you stock the snacks.
Yeah.
And now you're like, look, they're in little rows and it's perfect.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we talk all the time as well about doing something that you can see the end result and how rewarding that is. Yeah. No matter how mundane or how grand. I mean, we probably consider people who have jobs where you get to create something, whether it's a physical thing or you get to see the end result of it. You see the start and the finish. Those are probably the most rewarding jobs out there.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, anytime that you actually, if you're working in a factory and you only make one piece of a product and you never see the finished object, then you feel hollow too. But you don't have to get fulfillment from your job.
No.
You just have to have that thing in your life.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be your job. It can be your hobby.
Right.
It can be your side whatever.
Yeah, you could have a side hustle or philanthropy. You could make soup for people. You could give out pies. You could, whatever the thing is that you like, you make it with your hands. Other people share and enjoy it. You see it being partook.
But I think seeing it from start to finish, you see,
huge.
you see the beginning stages, you see what goes into making it, you see the end result, and ideally where it goes and what it does and how it serves its purpose. And just that full circle is so great.
So full circling.
Sure. Okay. It's so full circling.
It made me think about how hard it is for people who start a business to ever let it go.
Oh my God.
That's a classic trope of like entrepreneurs or anyone who starts any business or even a program within a business. As soon as it's time to be like, okay, well now it's fulfilling and I should delegate and I should work on other projects or other tasks, it's impossible to let go.
Absolutely.
It's a very human thing.
Very.
And you see it at every level, from small businesses to big ones too, where the CEO can't retire or whomever involved like can't let go. But then that causes things to fall apart as well.
Yeah.
Because
you have to know when it is time.
Because you can't physically do everything.
You can't physically do everything.
You can't see all sectors at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, guilty.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. There's so many times when it's like, yeah, I should automate a ton of shit. I should delegate things. And then that's why sometimes I don't answer emails for a week.
Yeah.
Or longer.
10 days. Gets to a point, and I'm like, Matt, sit down and do some emails, please.
What's your brother after that?
Yeah.
I'll be, if anyone's watching, I'll be answering all the emails tomorrow.
Yeah. But it was very nice to start the day that way because even though, like I said, woke up feeling very Monday, even on a Tuesday, the day rolled after that. And it was a productive day. It was a fun day. I mean, it was a Tuesday.
You cleaned some breakfast, nanner panners, which is our every other breakfast day.
Yeah.
Where we take 1 egg and 1 banana and like a tablespoon of flour and whip it up and make pancakes.
They're great. If you haven't tried them, they are fantastic.
A pinch of cinnamon in there, a little salt.
A little pinch of cinnamon. Some days vanilla, and those are special days.
Yeah, well, you can't do that all the time.
No.
We're not luscious here.
No.
And we drizzle honey on
That's
it.
why we do it every other day.
Right.
And the days in between, we split an omelet.
We split an omelet, 2 egg
We're
omelet.
not obsessed with routine or anything.
Well, that's it. Dinners are always different.
Dinners are different.
And it's like...
Dinners are just a question mark every single day.
Well, our lives lean into that as far as, my appointments sometimes go longer, sometimes are shorter. We have more options. Then there's always a little fire to put out somewhere.
Yep.
So we have to sprint to the next thing.
Yeah.
And then it's just tip-top.
Then it's just tip-top.
Yeah.
Those are the nights where it's just tip-top. But I do like having a pretty set routine in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Creatures of habit.
Yeah, and once again,
it's
like that's the way to accomplish something. First thing is set that routine.
Yeah.
You also feel less guilty, like, okay, we eat a good breakfast and work out, and then later in the day I don't feel as guilty about shit.
Yeah, when there's like a pile of cookies sitting there, you're like, but I ran.
We threw out our cookies though.
Well, there was time. We ate plenty of them.
Stale,
it was time.
We went too hard.
Yeah.
I went too hard.
I mean, it's Christmas. Cookies are everywhere.
That's why January 1st, full carnivore. Back on my shit.
Are you doing it again?
Oh yeah. I'm doing it. I'm gonna fucking do it. But you hate it.
I don't even participate, but it drives me crazy because I feel like we're not doing the thing together. I mean, it's like you make dinner and you make your meat.
My pile of meat.
Your pile of meat. What else? You usually have some cheese, like hard cheeses, I think, are allowed.
Meat, eggs, cheese. Yep.
Meat, eggs, cheese. It is just like, I don't know. I mean, it's great. I still have my sides. I still have my veggies. I still have my whatever. But just like to not eat it with you, it's a weird feeling. Maybe I'll feel differently this year now, kind of knowing what to expect. But last year, I felt like I was eating alone all the time, even though we were sitting right there together. Eating, But because I was putting my, green beans on the plate and my whatever else I had, and you just had a fucking pile of meat.
Yeah.
It just felt, it was weird. But you're allowed to try it again.
It felt like a cleanse.
I'm
felt good.
sure it did.
Well, and it's funny because last year I really wanted to do it because I needed something to do because we were in a holding pattern waiting for rezoning on a business.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need a task or something to accomplish.
A project.
And this year it'll also be like, we're starting demo tomorrow.
Yeah.
On the building to like do the build out for the next phase. But we can't really do anything in January at all. January will be like a whole month where
cold.
It's just going to be cold. We can't actually move or build anything.
Yeah. So you got to focus on...
I got to have a weird task.
You got to have a weird task.
Yeah.
I mean...
I will go crazy. Like you've seen The Shining? That'll be me.
Well, I've seen The Shining. I also saw you throughout lockdown.
Yeah. A little crazy is what you're saying.
A little crazy. I mean, that was a funny time.
Well, because I wasn't working.
You weren't working.
I did some side quests.
Well, the funniest part was I was working.
Yes.
I was
You
going
went back to the bakery.
into the bakery at 4 a.m. every day and working a good 7-hour shift. And nobody knew what the hell was happening.
Oh, yeah.
And so I would go to work. Matt would very much still be asleep.
Yes. Well, because you would go at like 4.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're allowed to still be asleep then. And then I would come home at like 11 or 12. And I think pretty soon after it all began, you started your drinking and drawing,
which is very
YouTube
fun.
classes.
Which I believe they're still on YouTube,
I think they're
right?
still up there. Great idea. Super fun, engaging, basically teaching people how to draw somewhat basic things.
It'd be
a
like
cardinal or a skull or a rose.
I just did some like drawing fundamentals too.
Yeah. But you made a cocktail with it.
Yeah, drinking and drawing.
And so inevitably you'd make a couple.
Well, I would shoot it. So that's the thing is I was like filming it like a little food video. So I'd have to make it like twice to get different angles and get a good shot and take of everything. And then I have to drink those.
Of course. So then I come home at 11, 12 a.m., 12 p.m.
I'm feeling loose.
And Matt's already tipsy. And I'm exhausted. And Matt's like, all right, you're home. Let's do something.
Yeah.
It's like, one, there's nothing to do.
Well, we live downtown, so it was
empty.
Like literal tumbleweeds.
There was
in the
nothing
street.
going on. But we would end up making kind of themed dinners or like every night like had a theme.
You just posted the Christmas video.
Just posted the
Christmas special.
The Christmas special.
The King Serpent Christmas special.
Yes, that was a product of lockdown. It was a weird time, and it really proved to me that you need something at all times.
Yes, yeah. I'm like, well, like we were just talking to Cop Dog.
Yeah.
The Malinois. The problem is it's not working, so it's going insane. Like these dogs have to have activities and tasks and training at all times, and that's me.
Yeah. All right. Little Malinois.
Malinois. Whatever.
Yeah. How was your day?
Swell. I tattooed a big ass jellyfish.
Yeah, I saw it. It
which
looked
was really
nice.
cool. He wanted it kind of Technicolor, and now we're going to expand it into sort of like poisonous or deadly animal leg sleeve.
I was stung by a jellyfish.
You were
last summer.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Oh my
like
God.
Blistered up. It was crazy.
I've never had that happen.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild. I thought I mean.
No, you're not actually supposed to pee on it.
I mean, I'm sure you could put some other acid on it, but you can, and I think it will sort of
stop the stinging or like stop the spread of whatever.
Something.
I feel like I read when that happened, I was looking stuff up like, do you pee on a jellyfish sting? And it was like, don't.
It was wild. I mean, I spent my entire childhood in South Carolina. I was stung many times. I remember one time I was stung around my neck, but it always just was kind of pink, a little hot, a little stingy. Really nothing happened. This didn't react for probably 3 days, 2 or 3 days. And it wasn't until I was home and I was changing, and I thought that I like had somehow burned my leg.
It like stuck to you, right?
No, but I remember I was taking my jeans off, and I just felt this like this hot, stingy, like really I was like, oh my God, I thought maybe I had like cut myself with my ring or something. And I look down and I see this mark on my leg.
That's right. You thought at first it was your massive diamond that tore your leg.
No, that's not at all wrong finger too. Anyway, no, but I thought maybe I had like leaned up against the oven and didn't realize that I burned. It was a weird thing. I didn't know what happened. And so for probably a day and a half, I just had this mark, and it was getting a little bit worse. And I remember I put Neosporin on it, thinking it was a burn. And I'm like, I'm just going to put some Neosporin on it. And I think we took a walk. And after that walk, we came home, and it's boiling.
Right. That's
like it had
just
bubbled
the 40 minutes
up.
of the walk.
And so something in the Neosporin reacted. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this thing. And I was just kind of like, okay, not really sure what to do. And then it clicked. I was like, I bet it's a jellyfish thing. I'd been in the ocean a couple days prior.
Did your mom have one too or something?
Well, she did it maybe a few years ago. Yeah. But I messaged her and I was like, I think I got stung by a jellyfish. And she's like, you know what? That happened to me too. Yeah. I have a scar for it from it.
Yeah, well, I remember it was like pink forever.
Oh, people were like, did you get attacked?
Yeah.
You're like, what animal did you fight?
Yeah.
I mean, there were a few different...
and you were like, technically it's not an animal. A jellyfish
is more of a plant. Oh, Siri's really concerned about you right now.
I guess so, yeah.
She doesn't understand what the fuck happened either.
About. Oh my God, Siri, calm down, girl.
But
get out of here.
But no, eventually I did just it healed, but it was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
So I guess her, your client today?
Him.
Yeah. I guess having the jellyfish and then including other poisonous things makes sense.
Maybe like an allergy shot, like you get the animal tattooed on you, and then if it were to bite or sting you, you won't have as intense of a reaction, right?
I guess so. Yeah. your little powers or something.
Yeah, like inoculation of, you take.
Yeah.
I'm listening to that John Adams book, and they would take stuff out of pustules from smallpox.
Fucking gross.
And then what were they doing? I think they were injecting.
I honestly don't really want to hear about this.
Okay, but that's how they were like, give a mild case of smallpox.
Of course, yeah.
And
inject pus. Cool.
Yeah, but that's how they were getting it. They weren't they didn't know how shit worked. So
I know. We're lucky. We don't have to deal with that shit anymore.
Yeah, no, they can synthesize it or whatever.
Yeah.
They can breed tiny amounts of the virus.
Yeah.
Give it to you, and then you won't get the actual disease.
Right.
But
right.
Back then, you'd have that some poor sap would just be sitting there and.
Oh my gosh, old science.
Old science.
Ben Franklin.
Yeah, he's the coolest. He managed to capture God. People thought he was the devil, which was so fun. But lightning rod, that was the big deal, and he's saved every church in France.
His anatomy school.
Oh, you're talking about the 2,000 bones buried in his backyard?
I am. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
For those who don't know, in the 90s, the longest, Ben Franklin lived for 16 years in London with a widow and her daughter, and I can't remember the house.
He was almost like a boarding house.
It was.
He had a room
I'm trying to
there.
remember. She had a cool name too, though.
I don't know. We went.
But we went when we were in London. It was the first thing we did when we got to London.
The first thing we did was take a tour of the Ben Franklin house.
The most American thing you could possibly fucking do in London. But yeah, it was in the 90s. The house had actually been rented for a long time. And in the 90s, they decided to make it a museum. They start excavating in the backyard to sort of zhuzh
clean it up, make it nice.
They start finding some bones. And then more bones. And more bones.
People bones.
2,000
Skulls,
separate human bones.
Femurs.
Yes.
Other bones.
Yeah, of all varying types and sizes.
I haven't taken an anatomy class
in
a while.
At first they're like, okay, was he a murderer? Or what the fuck happened here? And then they started pulling the thread, and it was man of science, Ben Franklin, which back then people were just scientists.
Right.
There wasn't, surgery was very in its infancy.
Absolutely.
And so to try and...
Well, people wanted to be buried whole.
Of course,
You didn't want to go into the ground. You didn't want to go to heaven with pieces missing because you wouldn't be accepted, basically.
So there were very limited options to actually cut open people and do any scientific studies.
Right.
And he essentially started running an anatomy school, and they were hiring people to grave rob.
I was going to say there was some grave robbing.
Yeah, to bring bodies there, and they were dissecting them, but it led to a lot of innovation and
absolutely.
That's weird.
The whole thing was fascinating.
Michelangelo did similar stuff. Yeah. There's throughout history these people like, why can't I figure out how muscles work?
Yeah.
You know? So you have to like take it into your own hands.
Touch the muscle. Yeah.
Yeah. Literally into your own hands.
Literally into your own hands.
I don't recommend doing illegal things, but you know.
For the greater good.
Well,
I don't know.
in light of Luigi Mangione or whatever, maybe we don't talk about taking the law into your own hands.
No. Won't even go there.
Yeah.
That's a mess. But, did you do any other tattoos today?
No, I just had the one. We did like 4 hours, cranked it out, and then I dropped off a saw to Lex.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a total fail.
Oh, no.
I think the wood is like, but I need a more powerful saw. Something different.
Oh, sure. So now you have to buy a new saw.
No. I have a bigger, better saw.
That is the most guy thing.
Well, you know, with the right tool, it would have worked perfectly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That you don't have.
I want to try it too because I want to like that saw's a little finicky. I used it recently at Parlor Suites, and you have to like kind of like baby talk it, and it's because it's wireless.
You probably don't want to pet it.
Well, on its back.
It's a saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just want to like talk to it nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sorry about that.
I know. No, I sprinted to do that, and then phone calls, hyped about the demo.
I know. That'll be exciting.
Can't wait.
Good. Very cool.
Ponytown, tell me about it.
Oh, God. Not too much to report at Ponytown today. But Courtney's back.
Yes, the trainer is back. Good.
Courtney's back. She was on vacation for a week, and by Sunday, everybody pretty much needed Courtney to be back. The horses lost their minds. Today was a little bit better. Something spooked Richie, and he had to fly down one of the long walls and let out a few bucks. But the funniest part of it was all of November was no stirrup November. So we did a lot of riding without stirrups. Basically, whatever the date was how many minutes you would ride without stirrups. It's a great conditioning exercise. A lot of places do it. A lot of places do stuff in November.
Right.
No something November and whatever.
No shave November.
No shave November. I think that's probably where it started. So no stirrup November. So we got through it. It was great. Felt super strong. So today when Richie was bucking down the long wall, you know, we got through it, and Courtney was like, good job, you know, great riding. Good job staying on. And, you know, all that no stirrup November is paying off for don't die December.
Oh,
and I was
that's
like,
good.
Here we go. Yep. So, pray for me.
Yeah.
Pray for me.
All right, I will.
Thank you.
I also am terrified every time you go out.
Wow.
Every other day. Always.
Truly, I am in more danger driving out there than I am at the barn.
I know.
We just knock on a lot of wood. And
I know.
I did have to go to Costco today.
It was a pleasant experience?
It was a pleasant experience. It was later in the day.
I know that Costco can be stressful for you.
It's such a love-hate relationship with Costco, as I would imagine anyone with a Costco membership.
Well, it's not Costco.
has.
It's the other people.
Oh, yes. It's the other people. The only thing that bothers me about Costco, and some people, I mean, this, we'll see. I might get some hate for this.
Is it free samples?
It's the fucking samples.
You know,
it clogs up every single aisle.
People go and just get their whole lunch as free samples.
I'm aware. I'm aware. That's why I don't go at lunchtime.
Yeah.
Honestly, later in the day is better. People they're full. You know, they probably don't want to ruin dinner, so they're not going to sample as much.
Was it just last year we got the Costco? No, we're on year 2.
No, I think we're on year two. Yeah.
And in 2 years, you've never eaten.
I've never had a sample.
Any sample.
I go in there on a mission.
Right.
Now.
You're serious about your Costco.
I'm very serious about it. I know that it's not going to be fast. So, like, when I go to Kroger...
I keep thinking that I'm going to try and get a sample when I'm there with you, but then I feel ashamed.
I'll shame you.
Because I'll look and I'll be like, I don't know, I might want to try it, but then like Liz is already like running away from me, and I'm
halfway out of the store.
She's gonna lose her damn mind if I stop and try this like weird fruit juice right now. And
it's always a weird fruit juice. It'll be like snowing outside. They're like, you want to try this tropical juice? I'm like, no.
Yeah, because it'll take you on a tropical escape to somewhere else and make you feel like
yeah,
okay, exactly. Whatever. Thank you.
But no, I know that I don't get many things there. We get a lot of stuff for Parlor Suites. We get a few things that it's only 2 of us. We don't have a lot of storage. There's no real reason.
Like eggs, olive oil, things that will last for a minute.
But I just know that it's not going to be fast. So I take a very deep breath before I go in, and I just kind of focus on my task at hand. I will say, once you get through the warehouse as it is, and you make it to checkout.
Oh, they're efficient.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
They're like professionals. They must pay them well.
They hire the most wonderful people.
Well, they're competent for sure.
It blows me away every single time. I mean, my card is barely out of my wallet, and the total is there. And I mean, it is. One time, I was buying bacon, and I just grabbed a pack out of the freezer, and as I was checking out, the woman looked at it, and she literally called somebody over and was like, "Please go get me another one of these. This one doesn't look right." And she was like, "I just think it looks too old, and I don't want you taking that, and it's unsafe." And I was like, "Oh my God." And, you know, for a brief second, I'm like, okay, but I'm in a hurry. I need to get out of here. That guy was back in 0.04 seconds. I mean, incredible.
Well, they hire high school sprinters to do that.
I don't think this guy was in high school, but no, it was great. And so if you can get through the shopping part of it, your checkout will be lovely.
Yes,
absolutely lovely. So we were gifted the membership. I was very against it for a long time.
Well, we didn't. Once again, there's two of us. It doesn't make sense.
It didn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. But
now it does with the businesses.
I mean, we crushed the bananas and
and it's quality.
The quality's great.
The quality is fantastic.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They really do. And
the meat's great. I mean, I'm going to lean heavy on it for January. I'll get the packs of steaks, packs of chicken, you know.
Oh my God.
Get 20 chicken breasts at a time.
Oh my God. Oh.
Blast through those.
Just too much. Yeah. Well, so
Costco. What I need to find out is what I did not do last January was Costco pork rinds.
Oh yeah.
And what I need is like gallons of pork rinds, because that's
a bathtub of pork rinds.
That is the secret.
Yeah, I think so.
To going full carn, which is what I call it.
I was gonna say, so now we're abbreviating.
The abbrev, full carn.
For carn.
Yeah, is because you need a little crunch or a little side item or something, and then you get plain and you season them yourself.
So you can change the seasoning.
So you can change the seasoning, but then you don't get like added sugars and stuff on it. Because if you get like a barbecue one, you look, it's like sugar. So, yeah, I'll just do like chili and cumin and or something.
It'll be exciting. Stay tuned for.
I'll get creative with it.
Carnivore
I'll go harder, more creative this year.
You'll feel more confident.
I feel like the biggest fail I tried to do, and I'll revisit it, was like a crusted chicken with pork rinds, like using that as a crust on it. And I felt like I dredged it in maybe like yogurt or something,
I don't know.
which I shouldn't have done the yogurt as well, but you know, maybe I was cheating a little bit. But long story short, they got soggy, didn't work, didn't fry up well. So I want to try and revisit that, like how to use pork rinds as a crispy crust, like low carb, high protein crust.
All right, do it and prove it, and we'll see.
All right, I will. I love a challenge. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. Speaking of the grocery store, yesterday I was driving there, and I was at a pretty busy intersection. So I was on High and Main.
Oh, I know where this rant is going.
Oh, watch out. Watch out. Here I come.
This is her favorite rant.
I was waiting to get to this point in the podcast.
Yeah, you've been like building up to it the whole time.
Holding on to it. Coming up to a stoplight.
I might need another little splash of treat.
Sure. So this is an intersection, and it was, I think, I don't know, noon? 11:30 maybe? Mm-hmm. This is an intersection where the courts are. It is a heavily foot-trafficked area.
Yes.
Some motherfucker comes flying up behind me. I think I was the second car back, so there's one car in front of me. We are stopped at the stoplight. It is a red light. It didn't just turn red. It was a red light. I came to a stop because I saw the red light and I had to stop. Came up behind me, went to the right of me, which is another lane, but like a lot of the times buses are in that lane or cars are parked, flies past us, brakes for a hot second, and then like skirts around a car that was coming perpendicular to it, but turning. Basically just like blew the red light.
Bold in front of the courts.
Very bold. There's cops there
all the
time.
Yeah.
But he even like, she, I don't know, like slowed down knowing that they were going to then go through it.
Yeah.
This is getting out of hand.
It is every day, everywhere we go. We're froggering it constantly.
It to the point where it's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
And I know it's happening everywhere.
Oh yeah, no. And I talk, there's all these cops and firefighters and stuff that I deal with. That's everywhere all the time. Increased accidents for sure. Distracted driving, a lot of it.
I think that's a huge part of it. But also, so often we're walking and we're on the sidewalks and we might not even be at the intersection yet. But I see a light turn yellow and then I see it turn red. Mm-hmm. And once it's red even, I can hear a car that's speeding up.
Yeah.
Like they thought maybe they were going to get the yellow light because they were delusional, and then it turns red and they still think they're going to get the yellow. I'm like, what are you doing? I am amazed that I've not seen more accidents.
Right.
Which I guess there's enough time on either end, but like people are getting so reckless with it. There are going to be very severe accidents. Yeah. And it drives me fucking crazy. And
do you think that we are more aware constantly because we walk everywhere?
I don't know, because I see it in the car all the time as well. Yeah. And I mean, at this point, I remember, my whole life, my dad has always told me, look left, right, probably like way too many times than you even need to. But now I'm like, I have to. I absolutely, and I have to, you have to be an offensive and a defensive driver anymore.
Yes.
And I don't know what the answer is, but it is extremely concerning. And it's the blowing the red lights that is terrifying right now.
There's granted, it might be a little confusing for people, but over on 3rd, where there's a light before the next light.
Yeah.
Every single morning, I almost get hit.
That is, not that it's okay, but people don't see that light. Yeah.
But the next one's always red as well.
It is.
And they're just like going as fast as possible.
It is. I know. Time. Yeah. No, everyone's just like, I've got good brakes on my brand new car, so I'm going to slam on the brakes.
I don't know. It's a little terrifying. It's one of the few times where I'm like, I can't wait for automated driving.
Cannot wait. Oh my gosh. I was in traffic today on the highway and we all came to almost a standstill.
Because they don't zipper.
They don't zipper, but I don't even know if it was a zippering moment.
Yeah.
We were just all of a sudden at a standstill and then we were flowing just fine. Like, what happened?
Well, and have you seen the videos of that happening where it is like one person's reaction and like your reaction time,
of course,
and so that just keeps compounding and but nothing is more disappointing than being in stop traffic and then coming up to where it was and nothing is there.
Oh God!
Like you want the payoff. You're like, I don't want to see anyone hurt.
But I want to see something.
But I kind of want to see like
something. Yeah, and then there's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
They're just like, gotcha.
Is that a Giggly Squad reference?
That is.
Oh my God. Send that to him.
I will.
Just cut that clip and send it to him. I found out that my parents watched our first 2 episodes.
Good.
So, hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Dad.
Hi.
Oh, I got to text him. I'm going to send him a picture of the Schmitz truck from Village Lights. Which was very cute.
We did it.
We did Village Lights. I will say... So Mike at Brioso reminded me, he was like, well, last year they blocked the street off. And it was what?
They didn't this year.
No, they did not this year. That's what I'm saying. Which I don't think we went last year, did we?
I don't remember.
We skipped last year.
But I did have that thought this year as everyone is crowded on the sidewalks.
I know.
There were cars. I think everybody that was driving down there knew what was happening. So people were not running red lights.
The driving, yeah, of course. Thankfully. The driving was chill, but I think if people would have been capable of being in the streets, it would have been so crowded on the sidewalks in certain areas.
Right. If you haven't been to German Village, it's old brick sidewalks with roots coming out. And
we said on, was that Sunday night? Yeah, Sunday night. We're like, if you have a stroller, this is chaos. This is absolute chaos.
Why would you bring
your kid's going to have a concussion?
Just carry your kid. Just carry your kid. Yeah. My God, it's big enough. It's in the way.
But it would have been easier for the vendors too, because then, everyone's crowding around trying to get up to the little shops. If they were facing the street, that all would have been open.
Yeah.
And I think the funniest thing though was it was very cute. Everything was very sweet. We got there at like 8-ish, and it was supposed to end at 9. And
I think we got there around like 7:30, 7:45.
But every single musical act we came up to was they were like da da da. Okay, that's it. Good night, guys. every single one that we got to. We didn't catch a single fucking act.
Full song or anything.
We went
the handbells. We got the handbells for a minute.
We like 3 notes or something. Yeah. And then we saw them finishing in the choir in the church.
The choir in the church. We went into St. Mary's. It was open.
Are you talking about beatboxing?
Yes, I am. Well, it was funny. We walked in. And we had never been in the church, and it's fun to go into churches.
It was pretty.
It's beautiful. Yeah. It was warm. And so we walked in, and they had this choir up at the altar singing, and they were kind of moving around.
They were hip.
They were hip. It wasn't a very buttoned up moment. It was
they weren't in robes. They were in sweaters.
They were wearing sweaters. And I think before I even realized what was happening, there was like a beat. And so it felt lively. It felt like it was really rolling. And then I look at the side, and part of the choir is this guy beatboxing.
What's the a cappella group that's really popular?
Oh fuck, you asked me too quickly. Yes.
But they have a
Pentatonics.
Guy. They have a guy who does that.
Oh, okay. So
I think it's trendy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever. It was the first time I had seen it.
Yeah.
And it worked. It was actually
really
totally cool.
No, it totally works.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
And then I keep laughing about this. Our friend Kristen was with us, and she brought up visiting St. Anthony's Church.
Are you going to say what the nickname?
Of course I am.
Yeah. Well, first, why
in Pittsburgh, right?
Why is St. Anthony's relevant?
Well, it's the largest collection of Catholic relics outside of the Vatican.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Pittsburgh, Ohio. Yeah. Not Ohio, Pennsylvania.
Someone's pissed off right now. Yeah.
There's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, St. Anthony's. We've not been, but she went with a friend, and they named it Boney Tony's,
which is so good.
I
was already we were having the conversation about the relics and pieces of bone and fragments of saints and stuff, and I'm like, I love that shit. I want to go. And then she was like, yeah, he texted me Boney Tony's or whatever, and I was like, oh my god,
it's so good.
That's so fucking good.
So probably need to go.
Yes.
Probably.
Well, we were talking about a Pittsburgh trip.
Yeah. I think it's probably going to happen.
We need to double check.
Well, January, we're not doing anything else, so probably going to go.
Well, the Springfield show.
Yeah. But going into churches is always a unique experience.
Well, there's something, the reverence that you're supposed to have. I like things that are just architecturally interesting, so many houses, so many new builds, especially in Columbus. You look, they're so sterile, so generic, overprocessed. How can we cut costs and save money? And here's a gray box, and interior design has gotten so fucking boring. And here's another open floor plan, and everything's gray or white. And then you walk into a fucking old ass Catholic church, and you're like, oh, nothing's a fucking flat wall in here, and it's just as ornate as possible.
You walk into Westminster Abbey.
Well, you walk into Westminster Abbey and you cry. You start weeping immediately.
I mean, we went to Westminster Abbey.
It's mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing.
We didn't talk the entire time we were in there.
How could you? What would you even say?
You can't. I'm speechless in this moment, but I just remember it was packed. It was a Monday.
Yeah,
it was May, but it's London. It's Westminster Abbey. If it's not a wonder of the world, it should be.
It's one of the most famous cathedrals, churches in the world, in one of the most populous cities and tourist spots in the world.
My point is, I felt alone the entire time.
Oh yeah. Well, you're having a conversation with, whatever spiritual realm, whatever your higher power.
And I don't really know where I fall on the spirituality scale, or if I necessarily feel things all the time or none of the time. Oh my God, something came over me when I was in there.
Human exceptionalism.
It was unbelievable.
The craftsmanship. Anytime you go up to a thing that is, that men built this. Yeah. That humans built this thing, and you're immediately like, how?
Yeah.
How could human hands make this? And then you start to look around, and it's like, okay, it's also a tomb for the who's who of Britain and antiquity and
the world.
And how many things have happened in these halls and
my cheeks are honestly getting flushed
I see you.
just thinking about it right now.
It's wild.
But I mean, in a similar vein, they just rebuilt Notre Dame.
I know, it looks amazing.
I saw a news story and they invited anyone who worked on the rebuild. So anybody who was an engineer, an architect, a designer, an artist, whomever, who had their hands in the project, to a service.
Yeah.
And it was a private service, but I think they all sang together. And I was like, I mean, I don't know what year Notre Dame was built or over what years it was built, but most of those things, there's restoration projects, obviously, but to rebuild and to ideally rebuild to the degree that it was originally built doesn't happen.
Was it, were you and I talking about, there were a couple of, like, archaeologists, anthropologists, some scientists who were very niche specialists who have never been asked to, like, it's like you're a superhero and you have one power and nobody really cares about your superpower until it's the one thing they need. And there's like
the pommel horse guy.
Like, exactly. So there's one like history professor sitting around France.
Oh, he knows everything
and
about
he knows
Notre Dame.
and Macron calls. His wife answers and is like, "Oh, the president."
Dr. Jean.
The president calls and it's like, and the wife answers,
"We
like,
need you.
We need you." And she's like, "The president's on the phone." And he's like, "No, why would the president be calling me?
Yeah. There's
no reason the president would be calling me." It's like,
Notre Dame burned down.
It's like, he's like,
I'm on it.
This is my time. Little cape.
Totally. Sure, that happened to a few of them.
Yeah.
But so cool that you then get to create this thing that's just not being done anymore.
Yeah.
Like
well, there's
saying.
enough history on it. Like, they knew where the wood came from in the specific forest, and they were able to get the exact same trees, hundreds of years old.
You just probably wouldn't have that opportunity unless you were rebuilding or restoring an already existing structure. No one's building like that anymore.
No.
And if they are trying to replicate builds like that, it's being 3D printed.
Yeah.
It's not being done by hand.
Well, that's what they're doing with the statues. Did we talk about that too? Yeah, they're
I think you mentioned it, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, basically they're taking big pieces of marble and they're having AI cut statues.
Right.
So, they're inputting designs and then they can cut the same statues and do these things. And they look beautiful and they're really cool.
And it's real marble.
It's real marble. It's cool, but it's like, that wasn't a human hand that touched it.
Yeah.
Is it too perfect? What does that mean?
No blood, sweat, and tears.
No, and no imperfections, which is really like...
That's where the real...
Yeah, when you listen to Bohemian Rhapsody, it sounds amazing. When you separate out the vocals, they're out of tune.
Right.
They don't sound right. It's the harmonized...
That's what gives it the depth and the richness.
That's what actually sounds full and thick. And when you overproduce something, it actually sounds thin. You can put 32 layers of guitar.
Yeah.
But if they're all tuned perfectly...
It doesn't sound like anything.
It doesn't sound like anything.
Yeah.
No.
You need the movement. You need the
slight
differences,
dissonance in
the
it.
dissonance. Yeah.
Then that creates actual beauty. It's like, why are, people... You're attracted to symmetry. It's like Denzel Washington has one of the most symmetrical faces.
Oh, right.
But
I think Bella Hadid also does.
I'm sure. But there's like... the unconventional things float to the top. It's like, how many people have won American Idol or The Voice or all of these fucking shows, but how many do you know? Very few. But you know who is really fucking popular? Neil Young.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
And that motherfucker, Bob Dylan.
Totally.
Bruce Springsteen.
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty, super unconventional. And the voices are like...
Not
good. You would hear them alone, like, somewhere, and you'd be like, that's... the worst thing I've ever heard.
But then you put it in this amazing song.
The songwriting is a huge part of it. And it would not be the same if it was a different voice singing that.
Well, most of the time when you hear a cover, especially of those songs,
it's too polished. It's
too polished. The song isn't as good.
No, it takes away the actual humanity of it.
Yeah. We covered Refugee by Tom Petty 2 years ago at the Springfield show with Lex. I think people hated it.
People kind of hated it. Well,
I was singing it.
They said because you were singing it, they were like, well, we just didn't expect like a woman to sing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
I was like, I don't really take offense to that because I kind of get what you're saying.
Totally.
And I think it's this exact situation.
I'm going to make you sing Kickstart My Heart.
I'll fucking
But also,
crush
Vince. A lot of people thought Vince Neil was a girl.
Was a girl. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be very good.
That's going to be really fun. Now, I feel like we've talked about it now that we have to do it.
Manifest that shit.
We have to manifest that shit.
Yeah, I think we will. I had a note for today just to talk about. I had to make a reminder to remind myself to talk about this using the reminders on my phone.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's become a huge part of our world.
Oh my God,
I'm doing it nonstop.
Nonstop. And for the longest time, I really prided myself on remembering things, and or writing it down in my journal, or not my journal, my agenda.
Yeah.
And that would kind of solidify it in my brain. And now it's like I have to put a reminder on my phone to write something in my agenda, to look at my agenda to remind me. It's just this vicious cycle. I mean, grateful for the reminders. Would we need them if it was never invented?
Well, yeah,
I'm not really sure.
I think people write. Everyone's always written down lists.
Of course.
I mean, there's archaeological digs, and there's fucking Roman Empire shit, and they were making lists,
right?
Grocery list, shopping lists, and stuff. But now that we are talking about it, I've been leaning more on the reminders app. I don't think I'm forgetting much, but like I've said a million times before, bad at directions now. Don't remember phone numbers. So general memory loss, or just the ability to retain short-term memory.
Short-term memory, yeah, exactly.
Become something that we don't. And soon you'll be able to just say it out loud. Already you can say it out loud. That's what we're doing. But you'll have your glasses on, your augmented reality glasses, and you'll say it, and it'll prompt you. It'll be like, do you want me to remember that? And you'll see a little thing pop up, and you'll be like, yeah, bro, click, bro, please remember, remind me.
It's slightly terrifying, and part of me wants to.
But then you'll actually have a better memory. You'll have a robot that is part you.
It won't. Well, and I mean that's something. It's no, we don't have chips inside of us right now, but we have a phone that's in our hand 24/7.
What is the brain other than a organic computer?
Yeah.
It's electrical signals being sent, and now you're just outsourcing your memory.
Yeah.
But
you're reliant on something that's not you, and that can be taken away at any moment.
But a lot of people will say that it is them.
Not quite yet.
Not yet, but
what I'm saying is it can be taken away.
Yeah.
It's something. Your phone dies.
It's hackable.
I mean, the easiest situation, your phone dies.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
You're absolutely screwed.
Now I don't remember any of my reminders.
I know.
What am I going to do? Do I eat? Do I breathe? I don't know.
How do
Siri, tell me.
No, she's gone.
She's gone.
She's gone.
Did you ever watch Her, the film?
I did. Oh my God, Siri.
All right, actually, we'll wrap up for tonight.
That's funny.
We'll end on
that note.
Apocalyptic.
Well, I think the next time we talk, I will have gone to the BMV.
Oh,
so that'll be a good one.
Yeah, it's almost your birthday.
Get ready. Gotta update my ID.
Birthday. Well, you don't have to.
Well, you can do it online.
You hate your picture.
No, it's not that I hate. I actually really like my picture. My picture is blurry.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It's working. But when I first got that ID 4 years ago or something, I went through TSA, and the person looked at my ID and looked at it, and he was like, I was like, it's blurry, right? He's like, very. And I was like, it's real. He's like, I know. And we were both just kind of like, good luck. So I'm getting a clear picture this year.
Listen, you've been to England and back, and no one's cared.
That's my passport. My passport picture is very clear because we took it.
Which is a weird thing that you can do.
Which is a weird thing you can do. So I'll let you know how the BMV goes. Otherwise, I think we'll just keep on keeping on.
Is that your catchphrase now?
Well, we'll see. Stay tuned.